call him head coach and general manager, or do you call somebody else the general manager, and do you separate the duties? Do you castrate the head coach in favor of some guy who doesn't know if it's pumped up or stuffed? How do you do that? And that's a delicate thing. And believe me, players know, assistant coaches know when you don't have the authority. And it's a deterrent to winning. They knew when Vince Lombardi said something, that was gospel. And that's the way it was going to be. The same with Bill Walsh. The same with Chuck Knox. The same with Chuck Noll. The same with Landry. People thought Tex Schramm just did. He was a figurehead and did a great job at what he did. And I think his title was more like president, whatever. But Landry made the decisions. And certainly Bill Belichick. Who do you think makes the decisions in New England? Now, of all those that I just went over, would you like to have a football team that is in some way similar to those records? Those are all dynasties.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. There's a blueprint there, but most people can't follow it. Cannot follow it. And I'm not saying every coach is qualified to be that, but I will tell you this: the general manager, to me, if you have somebody you want to name general manager, they should be in charge of business operations. It should be more of a business operations title.
Yeah, it's I agree. I think every situation is different there, but for certain coaches, listen, coaches know what they need. They know what they want. They know what's going to make this team work, not necessarily a guy sitting up in a booth, and I think we've seen that with Jerry Jones as well, not to throw names out there. But, Coach, we're up against a break. Listen, when we come back, you're not going to want to miss this. Pat Dooley joins us, Gatorsports.com, got a podcast, Florida Gators guru just in general. You hear him on Feinbaum all the time. Fantastic sports writer, just SEC football. This is a guy that I'm interested to see what he's got to say about National Signing Day and everything involved. But you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 991 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
Stephen A. Smith here. If you're like me, you have a mortgage and a family who depends on your income, then you need to protect the ones you love with life insurance. Life insurance can help pay off a mortgage or send the kids to college. It's peace of mind. Think you can afford it? Chances are Select Quote can help you get it for less than $1 a day. Select Quote comparison shops up to 10 highly rated companies, including Prudential, Banner Life, and Mutual of Omaha, and others, to find you the company with the best rates. For example, Select Quote could find a 35-year-old man a $500,000 policy for under $21 a month. That's less than $1 a day. Select Quote's breakthrough technology allows them to quickly match you with the best insurance company to find your best policy. Plus, quotes are free. Start protecting your family today. Call Select Quote at 1-800-601-6992. That's 1-800-601-6992. Or go to selectquote.com/Smith.
Get full details in the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Your premium could vary depending on health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
His football career started as a quarterback at Pensacola High. It culminated as the coach of the Buffalo Bills. Now, Coach K. Stevenson talks football every day at noon on Talk Football with Coach K.
Kareem Hunt got pulled over last week for speeding.
This guy's been in trouble over and over and over again. Now, if they get him out of this, he will get in trouble again.
Noon to 1, weekdays on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You can watch Coach K talk football live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
And welcome back into Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you, alongside former NFL coach K. Stevenson. Coach, we've got a special guest. I know a friend of yours as well, but this guy, once again, needs no introduction. I think he is everything, especially SEC football around here. We've heard him on the Feinbaum Show, Florida Gators guru, over 30 years, sports writer. I mean, this man has a wealth of knowledge. I'm interested to see what he's going to say, but, Coach, I'm going to take it over to you right here.
Yes, indeed. You're right, JP. And, Pat, I personally appreciate you coming on each and every time that you do.
No problem.
Well, we'll get right into it. I guess going around looking at the recruiting here, that it's almost anticlimactic because it's not like it used to be, everything coming due on yesterday. But it looks as though the SEC overall has had a pretty good recruiting year, and Florida, I think, has maintained Florida maintained a level of recruiting that we all had hoped. Maybe they're not first in the nation according to these people that rate the recruits, but just like they've always said, it's what they feel about them, not what other people feel. What does it look like to you there with the Gators?
Well, the biggest thing is that they have the roster in the best shape it's been in a long time around here. You may not like their ranking. You may not like they lost a kid yesterday that they thought they were going to get. But the bottom line is the roster is finally back to where it needs to be in terms of numbers, in terms of quality athletes. And it wasn't last year. I mean, even last year they were down to 66 scholarship players available for the Florida State game because of injuries, guys leaving, and other things. So they've got it where they need it. They still have to wait and see how the transfer portal works against them. But between the class they brought in, which is a really good class, as we all know, if you go by the ratings, it's number 8. It may be number 2. It may be number 14. Nobody knows. I mean, look, the bottom line with recruiting is, I was thinking about this today. There's 300 ESPN. They rank the top 300 players. Well, if they all go to Division I schools, there's still a bunch of players left over. I mean, it's not like, there's just a few players out there to get, and if you don't get those players, you're in trouble. And the thing we always talk about with Dan Mullen is his ability to develop talent. Nobody will argue that he's really good at that. He's as good as anybody. And so if he's getting a class that's number 8 in the country, and you figure he'll develop them, they could turn into 5 stars. I mean, they've got a couple of 5 stars. They could even get more of them. So I think they're in good shape, talent-wise, roster-wise. But, the funny thing is everybody in the SEC recruits well. You know why? Because the South is where all the players are. I mean, they're going to recruit well down here. And you also have this kind of vicious cycle of same teams keep getting in the playoffs, and guess what? They keep coming up with the best recruiting classes. And because they're in the playoffs, they get a better recruiting class next year, than they would have if they didn't. So it's just kind of a weird deal. But Florida's right where they hope to be. I think they certainly would like to have been better, but there's no coach who ever says after signing day we got exactly what we wanted privately. They say it publicly, but privately they never did.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you. Winning breeds winning, and these kids like to play in the Southeastern Conference because, too, it's such you get much more national recognition with all of the teams that are involved in the better rankings. But Florida, an interesting thing I heard Mullen talk about was, and I certainly agree with him on this, but at Mississippi State, the year they had their best year, I think for 2 or 3 or 4 weeks they were ranked number 1 in the nation. It's when they had the quarterback and quite a few other players out there. But he said that class, when they signed that class, it was considered the worst class that Mississippi State had, worst recruiting year they'd ever had. And it turned out to be the best group they've ever had. So it's not always what these whoever they are, and I'm sure there are very varied backgrounds involved in rating these players, but it's how they fit, it's the intangibles, it's how you coach them when they get there, what the climate is and the culture, and there's so many other things involved that you can't put a finger on.
Yeah, and I mean, do they really want to get better? Do they want to go to the NFL right?
Yep.
As soon as they step on campus, I mean, you've got to have guys. You got to have guys that want to play for your team, not guys that want to be football players. Like there are guys who just want to be a football player. Okay, I want to go out there, run out there on Saturdays, have people yell my name, and then and go to the bar and have restaurants and have people recognize me. And those are the guys who want to be football players. But you get guys that want to be want to represent their program, and they want to be good football players, and they want it matters to them, and that's the key. And sometimes you don't know that until you get them on campus.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. Well, listen, let me jump to something here real quick. I talked to Paul Feinbaum the other day about this. We had an interesting conversation. There is, in the Southeastern Conference, there's quite a bit of quarterback drain, I call it. I mean, one year when you got the Burrow kid who has the finest year maybe ever of any quarterback ever, Tua, who many consider in the same classification as Burrow, Brom at Georgia, Brom, I mean. 3 that most people rate certainly number 1, round 1 of the draft, and then what do you what does that do to the league itself? Now here's what I think. Get your feel on it, but according to what I've heard, is that they're pretty high. Georgia's pretty high on this kid from Wake Forest that just transferred there. LSU, they really like Brannon, the kid that backed Burrow up, and obviously he was in that system all year, practicing every day with it. So there's some carryover. Alabama likes Jones, and they like their whole quarterback room up there. And I think Florida, I really like this kid Trask at Florida. I think he really solidified the quarterback position and maybe calmed that whole football team down, or helped to, and going to be much better with having played some last year and now an off season. So overall, how do you feel about the quarterback situation in the SEC?
Well, there are a lot of unknowns. I mean, that's the thing. You can like your quarterback room, and you can think Mac Jones can be the guy, but over the extent of a full season, I mean, don't forget, your margin of error at Alabama is not very big. I mean, you lose a game, and that may be it. You lose 2 games, and it's definitely it, and your season's a disappointment. So can he play to that level, or maybe to his brother, Talia, I believe it is, may end up being the same kind of guy. So you've got that. You've got everybody says, yeah, Miles Brennan had a whole year in the system. Well, that system's changing. You got a new offensive coordinator, and they've lost a ton of talent.
Oh, they
Doesn't
have.
mean they don't have. They've got great talent coming right behind them, but it's not as experienced. And you still have Jamar Chase, and who knows? I think LSU is going to be the most intriguing team in the league because nobody knows whether they can. They're not going to go 15-0, and they're not going to set all these records, but can they still be good enough to win the West? And then okay, so you've got this guy coming in from Wake Forest, and they're all happy about it. He was considered to be the prize jewel of the quarterback class in terms of transfer portal, but I don't know if he's been playing at Wake Forest. He's not been playing against the same quality you're going to play against in the SEC. I mean, I think the second game of his year is against Alabama. So it's a lot of unknowns. I mean, Trask is kind of one of the more known. Kellen Mond is a known guy, but I thought underachieved a little bit last year, even though his numbers look good for what their record ended up being. And then around the league, you've got a lot of uncertainty. So I mean, the Kentucky quarterback, does he come back from his injury that he cost him almost the whole season, and is as good as he was before? Do they have to change their offense? So I think we went from known to unknown at the quarterback position, but that happens. You have cycles of, wow, look how good the quarterbacks are in this league, and then the next year, I'm not so sure about the quarterbacks in this league.
Yeah, I would agree with you, but it's just an interesting situation when you lose that much talent at the top. Really, really exceptional kids, and how it shakes out. So we'll see here shortly enough. Listen, what's going on up at Auburn? I just hear that their starting running back has just entered the transfer portal.
Yeah, Boobie Whitlow did that yesterday, and that was a little bit of a stunner. There's been a lot of crazy stuff going on at Auburn, basketball and football, but that one kind of blew everybody away. He would have to sit out, though, if he unless he gets a waiver. And here we go back to the whole waiver thing, where the Big Ten has made it a proposal that you could play right away one time. You get a one-time transfer, but that's not going to happen right away. It's going to happen probably at best next year, 2021. So Boobie Whitlow probably, unless he's got some circumstances we don't know about, or he lawyers up, which is the way you do it, may not be an impact on this season. But if he is, then obviously somebody's going to get better in their running back room. He's always been good, never great to me. Injuries have been a big part of it. If you remember when Florida beat Auburn and he didn't do anything in that game, and I was kind of surprised. And then we found out I think he tore his ACL or tore something, some kind of muscle. Might have been a quad, and was out for then the next few games, 4 or 5, 6 games, whatever it was. So that's, him healthy, could be a big addition to something. In fact, the first thing I thought about was Florida, because Florida's running back room right now is very inexperienced. But if he can't play right away, I'm not sure it's worth bringing him in.
Yeah, but I guess the bottom line is, more importantly, how much he can help somebody or not is not as important as what something's going on up at Auburn. That there's some unrest up there, and I've heard a couple of other things which I won't repeat at this point. But and I thought maybe you had a little insight.
No, I mean
information.
there's always something going on at Auburn. It's Auburn. You know that. You're always going to have some kind of unrest, and it depends on whether it manifests itself into a negative or whether they are able to deal with it. And it just feels like every year with Gus Malzahn that you go up and you go down. You go up and you go down. You think, oh, they're going to fire him. They're going to have to buy him out. And they beat Alabama. So it's a weird place. There's nothing. I think it's the most unique situation in the SEC.
Interesting. I would tend to agree with you. What, real quick, I won't keep you too much longer here, but I hear some very positive things about the FSU recruiting year. I think realistically he did a good job coming in when he did, when they really had a debacle going on there, and recaptured that recruiting season. Got some pretty good kids in there. Heard a lot of good things about the quarterback they got out of Arizona. What are you hearing about the FSU year and the quarterback?
Yeah, I think he did a good job, and I think those first years are the hardest years. You're never going to have a stellar class, but you hope it's a class that can kind of piece you to the next cycle when you're actually. Just think about it. It's the same way for a lot of coaches. Mike Norvell, when he's at Memphis, he's recruiting certain level of kids. He's not recruiting big-time guys. And now all of a sudden he goes to FSU. His relationships have not been made with those people, with the better players, and it's hard to get them. But I think they did fine. It's not an overwhelming class, but it's a nice, solid class. And for them, you have to remember FSU still has a brand, and the brand is it's not what it used to be, but for a lot of those kids, it's still the Jameis Winston Seminoles. Kids that grew up during that time when they were dominant for those 2 years until they met Oregon, but they had unbelievable class. So they see FSU as one of the better programs, even though they've been obviously not one of the better programs the last 2 years. So they did a heck of a job.
Yeah, agreed. Well, just quickly, I guess the other thing that tends to be on the upside in the SEC is Tennessee. Looks like they've put together a pretty good year, and they're moving, trending upward.
Yeah, I saw where Phil Fulmer said the balls are back. I mean, you're not back because you beat UAB, okay? You're not back because you beat Missouri. I mean, you got to beat the Floridas and the Georgias. You got to win some of those games before you're back. This reeks of Sam Ehlinger after the Texas beat Georgia in the Cotton Bowl last year, the previous year, and we're back. No, you're not. You're not back, Tennessee. You're still Kardashians. You're still the team that looks good but doesn't do anything. But they did have a nice recruiting class, but we'll see whether when they start playing real teams again, because really it's always been a tradition that Tennessee gets soft teams in the back end, and they always finish strong, and they always get all excited, and then they got to go play some of the better teams. So what we didn't know last year was that Georgia State was one of those better teams. But
yeah,
so we'll see with the Vols. I'm not convinced. I think they're this year's Missouri, and we'll see how they finish up.
Right. Well, Pat, I really appreciate it, my friend, and I'd like to stay in touch with you as time goes on. But
no problem.
Thanks a million. Appreciate your time.
Okay.
Bye.
And that's Pat Dooley right there. Interesting take on this. That you can tell right there with the recruiting as well. And I agree with him on the Tennessee. It is a good point. I never really thought about that. Tennessee tends to play those softer teams in the back of their schedule. Then they get all hyped up, and then the next year they have to go play the Alabamas and Georgias of the world and everything. Interesting to see how they have a top 10 class like they had. You've got to make some moves. Now, him saying they're back, they've got a long way to go, but it's a start for them. We appreciate Pat Dooley coming on the show, but we're up against a break here. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 991 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck, Bentley. That was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Making Moves is brought to you by LinkedIn.
On winning teams, every player brings their unique strength that has an impact on the results. For Kevin McHale, that meant coming off the bench for the Boston Celtics. Of his almost 1,000 career games, he only started 400 of them. Yet McHale helped lead the Celtics to 3 NBA championships, played in 7 All-Star games, and was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Build your winning team today. Go to linkedin.com/sports.
You wouldn't draft a point guard to play center, right? It's the same thing as when you're going to hire your next teammate. LinkedIn will match the right talent with your open roles fast. Post a job and you'll get great candidates with the right mix of skills, interests, and experience. So every hire you make is a win for your business. Go to linkedin.com/sports and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/sports. linkedin.com/sports. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, Chad here from the Sports Drive. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs are Super Bowl champions. Patrick Mahomes, youngest quarterback in NFL history to win the MVP and Super Bowl MVP. Andy Reid, great moment for a good person. 21 years he's been waiting for this dream. So the big question, you've heard it before. Coach Reid, you just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do next?
I'm going to go get the biggest cheeseburger you've ever seen. Prime, the biggest one. And might be a double.
Legit Sports Drive, 5 to 7, right here on your hometown leader for sports, ESPN Pensacola.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin, and you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Coach, really good call with Pat Dooley right there. Awesome information. Want to move on to a couple things here, though. It's interesting, the Colts, and I know Frank Reich, really close friend of yours as well. You think very highly. Of course, what they've done in Indianapolis, it's one of these years when you have Andrew Luck retire the way that nobody saw that coming. Nobody. This is a quarterback that was a difference maker, an elite quarterback, and you can say what you want, that he wasn't elite or whatever, that's up for debate, that's fine. But he was a quarterback that led this team, that this team got behind, that they were building this team around, and rightfully so. And when you have a quarterback like that retire, and it blows everybody away, when you've built your team around this, look, Jacoby Brissett, once again, no offense to the guy, but this is not the quarterback they were built around. He did a good job in what he had this year, but to me, he's more of a backup quarterback in a situation that you need somebody to fill in for a couple plays here, there, whatever. He was not supposed to be the starter this year, but what Frank Reich and that staff did was phenomenal. Be able to do what they did, going 7-9. It's a tough, when you look at the Titans and the Texans in that division as well. It's a tough division for them, but this is a division. They're a couple moves away, Coach, and I know we've said some things where you would like to see, it'd be cool if, you could get Tom Brady in there or some pieces here and there. Think they need a wide receiver to go along with T.Y. Hilton. Other than that, the pieces are there for them. They just need those key positions to be taken care of. Quarterback's one of them. But when you look at their coaching staff, I think it's interesting. This is what I was getting to. They made a bunch of moves. So they brought in the former offensive coordinator for the Eagles, Mike Groh. He's now the wide receiver coach. Kevin Patullo is now the passing game coordinator. The defensive line coach is now Brian Baker, who was on Alabama's staff. He was assistant in the NFL from 96 to 2014. Tyler Boyles, he's the assistant to the head coach Frank Reich. and Clayton Adams, their offensive line coach. Now, Coach, they've made a bunch of moves here. They still have the pieces. You got Matt Eberflus, their defensive coordinator. Nick Sirianni's their offensive coordinator. But the moves they're making right here, it seems like this is an Indianapolis team. You don't make these kind of moves unless I know coaches come and go, but they went out and got these guys. I think Frank Reich and them, Coach, they're getting set for something that's going to be really good.
And let's take a look at quite a few things here. You know that you've gone over a multitude of issues here. First, let me start with this. Something's going on in that I think 2 offensive line coaches now have been dismissed or they left the team. A new offensive coordinator, so to speak, even though I think Frank Reich is his own coordinator. He gives somebody the title, but he will be heavily involved. He worked with the guy at Philadelphia, so that's understandable. It's all for the better, but you can bet on one thing. What hit this football team? Very few, if any, football teams could ever overcome. This was like an atomic bomb hitting this team when Andrew Luck retired. Nobody saw that coming. And, you know, I predicted they went to the playoffs the year before, and it looked as though they were in position to challenge to go deeper in the playoffs and maybe even the Super Bowl. But this is your quarterback. This is one of the best quarterbacks to come into the league in many, many, many years. He was and all of a sudden he's gone. He decides to go. Well, of course, he had the injury that he felt that he had to, but that is a blow that you can't overcome. Now, they didn't have anywhere near the ability to replace him. So they've got to do something about that quarterback position. Now they're 7-9. They're going to be in the middle of the pack. I don't know if there's somebody that interests them in the young kids, whether they feel that would be sufficient for the other players that they have this year. I've talked about the possibility of bringing a Brady in for 2 or 3 years. That may even put this football team over the hump. I love their offensive line. You cannot duplicate what they've got for youth and ability up front. It's just amazing. Now, I find it unusual that 2 offensive line coaches are gone. Something was going on up there that Frank felt they were going to be better off letting those people out of there. So I want to try to find out. I guess I'll have to try through another way, but I'm trying to find out what went on there. So it would be very interesting. But that is you're right. There's something going on there at Indianapolis, and that is a possibility. It's the possibility to be the landing spot for Brady, and that would be a huge, huge explosion heard all over the NFL.
Yeah, and when you talk about that, and I think this is a realistic expectation here. Coach, right now they have the 13th pick in the draft, and Jerry Jeudy, it seems, is the guy that they're predicting they would draft here. I think that would be a tremendous pickup for them because I do think the wide receiver position, they do need one more guy out there with T.Y. Hilton as well. I know they have some young guys that they like a lot, but Jerry Jeudy is a guy that you would believe, after watching what he did at Alabama, he has some serious downfield speed. This guy can light it up on the outside. Not only that, he can make that cut that they need to be an NFL
He's a good run
receiver.
after the catch. An excellent run after the catch. He's an excellent receiver all the way around. Good hands, great body control. So you just go down the list. You could go all the way down the list on a yellow pad, and he checks them all off. Would that be? Yeah. See, here's the deal. Think about it now. As a football team, you got a good young offensive line. You got some other good players on that, young players on that football team. Not bad defensively. But could you go out and pick up the best quarterback to ever play the game and also put a Judy in there with him. I'm just throwing out a scenario here to go along with T.Y. Hilton, the tight ends that they have, the other youth, the offensive line, and what could you do potentially to the better teams in the National Football League with that on your sideline over there? I tell you, it's intriguing now. It's intriguing to me. I don't know if whether it is to other people or not. Welcome your call if you have thoughts on it, but that would be and it would be a very interesting scenario and landing place for Brady if he's given it thought too.
Yeah, I think it's something that if you're ready to win now, which I believe the Colts are, I think that the quarterback situation is what hindered them so tremendously. Look, when you've got Marlon Mack, Nyheim Hines, and Jordan Wilkins, those are three backs that are young, they're explosive. I mean, these are guys that you're going to have for a long time. T.Y., how many years does he have left with the injuries? I think for this team, Zach Pascal, we talked about him. Devin Funchess is a guy as a possession receiver. They have two good tight ends in Jack Doyle and Eric Ebron. The offensive line's good enough. The defense is good enough to win. And the other thing, too, Coach, if you have a good offense, it definitely helps your defense. It means a lot because this defense had to play a lot with their backs against the wall on the 3 and outs for the offense. So it's definitely something that I could definitely see happening. I agree. Much as I would hate to see Tom Brady in the division with the Titans, it would definitely be exciting to see this Colts team. I mean, you're talking about probably one of the best divisions in football. But listen, we're up against a break here. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit of XFL news for you. You don't want to miss it as you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 991 FM.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
There's only one place in town for the lowest prices and greatest selection of firearms. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Visit our fully stocked Gun Pro Shop for new and used firearms, accessories, and ammunition. Check out the Indoor Shooting Range. We offer rentals on guns, including fully automatic machine guns and silencers. Ladies, this is the safe place to learn how to use a gun. Plus, Tuesday is Ladies' Day. Women shoot for half price all day. The best place to buy firearms in Pensacola. Pensacola Indoor Shooting Range. Highway 29 in Car City.
Economic development, better schools, law enforcement, and public safety. Just a few of the issues that are on the minds of residents of Santa Rosa County. Twice a month, we take the time to recap the news events that shape and resolve the issues that affect our daily lives. Join us tonight for Focus on Santa Rosa, a 30-minute look back at the past 2 weeks of local news coverage by ESPN's sister station, News Radio 92.3 AM 1620. Focus on Santa Rosa, tonight at 8 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
It's time for some straight talk. You know what a full court press is in basketball, right? Full defensive coverage with no holes. Well, that's the kind of coverage you get with Straight Talk Wireless. It runs on America's best 4G LTE networks, same as the big carriers, but just for a lot less. Just $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G, saving you up to half the cost of the big carriers. No contract. Full court coverage, half the cost. Straight Talk Wireless. Everything for less. Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
The Home Depot delivers on your terms. Just say when, where, and how. Get free delivery on over 1 million items. No membership required. Need it fast? Order in-stock items online and pick them up in as little as 2 hours. Or tell us when you'll be home and we'll bring your order to your front door today. It's a good time to be a doer at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Visit HomeDepot.com for details.
The latest sports news is at ESPNpensacola.com and on Facebook at ESPN Pensacola. Plus, watch Chad Brilliante, Coach K, and Sports Call live on our exclusive YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330. This is Northwest Florida's all sports, all the time station. From Destin to New Orleans, sports fans come here for ESPN and local sports talk. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Welcome back to Talk Football with Coach K. JP here with you, alongside former NFL coach Kay Stevenson. Want to get to this video real quick. I know, of course, Oliver Luck, coach, he's a good friend of yours as well. Talking with Laura Rutledge here, and explains how the XFL, look, this is coming up Saturday and Sunday. The XFL opens their season. We're excited about it. But he talks about how the league compares to the NFL, the old XFL, the rules. I think it's a really good clip here for Oliver Luck. Let me fix that for you guys right there. You want to hear the NFL on Fox. All right, here we go, Coach. We're ramped up and ready to go.
Oliver, how is this league different from the original XFL?
There's nothing that this league has in common with the original XFL. We've focused 100% on really good quality football, great coaches. You mentioned guys like Bob and Pep Hamilton and Mark Trestman. We think we've got the best 450 or so players who aren't under contract to another professional football league. So it's all about the quality of the game. We're doing this for the love of the game, and the quality that we'll have come February 8th and 9th, our kickoff weekend, it will be remarkably different than what we saw back in 2001.
It's going to be so much fun to watch. How should this league be viewed in relation to the NFL, Oliver?
So the NFL is an awesome league. We view ourselves really as a complement, not as competition. We're playing in the spring. It's a time when there is no football. Everybody's in this national depression or national funk, because the Super Bowl, and then there's no football to watch. So we aim to change that. We aim to fix that. So we're really a complement to the National Football League.
Which rule innovations are you most excited to see implemented? Because there's a lot of cool ones here.
Well, there are a couple that I really like. One is the extra point options that a coach has. So you score a touchdown, you get 6 points. We all understand that, very traditional. But then you have an option to go for 1, to go for 2, or to go for 3. They're all plays from scrimmage. Of course, 1 point from the 2-yard line, 2 point from the 5, and then 3 point from the 10. That's all about strategy. So we as fans love to second guess our coaches. We're all Monday morning quarterbacks. So I think this one is going to be a lot of fun. The other one that I really like is the fact that we've got a 25-second play clock. So contrast that with the 40-second play clock in the NFL. And that will mean that we'll have a fast-paced, up-tempo game, just a lot of action. It's almost as if you're watching a 3-hour, 2-minute drill, because we really think our teams are going to be playing fast.
You mentioned some of the big-name coaches. Which players should fans be keeping an eye on in the XFL?
I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to watching a couple of guys. Cardale Jones, the quarterback for the D.C. Defenders. If he can recapture the magic that he had during that great Ohio State run a number of years back when they won the national championship, that's pretty cool. There are a couple of receivers in Texas, one in Houston, Sammy Coates, that I really like, unbelievable talent. And then Jazz Ferguson, who's a receiver up in Dallas, another great talented guy. He's playing in both those guys are playing in 2 very high-powered offenses. June Jones in Houston with the run and shoot. And of course, Bob Stoops' offensive coordinator in Dallas is Hal Mumme, who's the architect of the air raid. So you can imagine how many balls will be in the air when those 2 teams tee it up.
I love it. Okay, you're the XFL commissioner, but you're also Andrew Luck's dad. How's he enjoying retirement?
Thank you. He's enjoying retirement a lot. He and his wife had their first child about 3 months ago, so he's being a dad. And is healthy, is very happy, and enjoying retirement. I'm envious of him.
Well, there you go, Coach. A little added extra there with Andrew Luck, which actually I think is interesting. Everybody talking about Andrew Luck coming back. I don't think it's going to happen, but we'll see. I know a lot can happen. I think it's interesting, though, Oliver Luck, one thing you mentioned yesterday when I asked, the XFL, this XFL is nothing like the old XFL, and the difference is Oliver Luck. That's the one I believe. You're the one that convinced me of this as well. That's the guy that was missing last time. That's why this is going to last in this new XFL they have.
Well, sure. The old XFL was, as you know, the guy that
Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon made it an extension of what he had made a lot of money with, and that was professional wrestling. And he thought you could take the same principles involved in professional wrestling and equate that to football and give a new look at football. Doesn't work. Does not work. And this game is too popular and too well conceived and is too much, there's too much of a foundation built within the population of this country. You cannot prostitute this game and expect people to accept it. It won't happen. That's why it's been tough for like the Arena League and other league. You know, you need to. It's really a game built for the stadiums that we have, the width and the length, and get after them. That's why I think you got to be careful about some of these rules that they continue to institute, because you cannot get too far away from the basis of football.
Yeah, I think I agree, Coach. The best way to put it is baby steps when we move forward here. You don't want to jump too far ahead of yourself.
But I really think this XFL is an outstanding opportunity here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really fun with the rule change as well. The players, the comeback stories, whatever it may be. But, Coach, we ran out of time. Definitely, I know we could have got to a lot more stuff. Tomorrow we've got an exciting show for you as well. It's been a pleasure, my friend.
You bet. Look forward to it.
We are listening to Talk Football with Coach K here on ESPN Pensacola.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the sports